20 times what I got for Nose. Now, Nose is, granted, it's a novel, a relaunch of my fictional career that started a long time ago and then was abandoned for pay dirt of nonfiction. Back when you could actually make some real money as a nonfiction writer, books and magazine articles. I was lucky enough to live in that period without realizing. Of course, we never do how lucky we are. It took me a couple of years at least to write and rewrite this book, and there's no way I could have lived on what the advance was, more of a joke than an advance. So, you might well ask, was it worth it? Well, the decision was mine, and I'd say yes, it was worth it. I'm glad I did it and made ends meet other ways around. The same impulse to capture a place in the moment that inspired my first book about Napa also inspired Nose, which is set in the valley, much like Napa, but there are others in California similar. In the midst of recent Bush reception, when many in the high-end wine trade were threatened and therefore more revelatory of their natures. Fiction was better suited to the imaginary exploration of greed and landed fealty, I thought, and it was certainly more fun to write. An escape from almighty fact. Fiction, too, requires reporting, or at least knowledge, although it's not supposed to show. Even undertaking a novel is usually a heartbreaking experience. I suspect many of you are either writing a novel or have written one, or have tried. And you know what I'm talking about. Starting a novel is like falling in love with someone who's not in love with you. But you refuse to admit this. Flattery, flowers, dinner, none of it quite works, although there are moments. A year later or so, you open a drawer and it's like coming across an old phone number. You see a manuscript in there and you say to yourself, what was I thinking? But very occasionally a novel is not a heartbreaker. At least not until it's published. Sometimes it walks right up behind you while you're sitting there at the computer and gives you a big wet kiss on the back of the neck. That's what you want. And that's what happened with Nose. I was staying with journalists in Napa, and one morning I sat down at the computer in a mug of tea. And out rolled a rotund, brilliant, exasperating Clyde Craven Jones. By the time I got up again, I had an entire first chapter and could see all the way to the peak of the novel's end with lovely foothills in between. I meant this novel to be amusing as well as serious, but nowadays many readers can't believe that's possible. Satire has been subsumed in something more akin to TV series, and it's harder to bring off in fiction while also trying to put forward a serious message. Poor CJ has a very dark end in this novel. His demise is no secret, but I won't tell you what happens. But I saw in that the demise of his style of writing, wine criticism, and also the point system is sort of the ultimate way of reckoning. There are other ways to write about wine, as you know, and are employing yourself. One of the more endearing characters for me in Nose is Les Breeden, the failed newspaper reporter turned sui generis wine critic and blogger, whose blog is named Nose. I'd like to read you his first blog. It's not my blog. It's not your blog. It's not really a very good blog as wine blogs go, but it has something that we can all, I think, learn from, which is passion. He writes this after, in the middle of the night. He goes and sits at the table and starts to write. Could that be the collective stench of 1,000 wine opinion mongers and publicists and wannabe sommeliers pouring with sweat as they turn out a collective opus of bullshit so prodigious that it threatens to destabilize the globe and send it out of orbit? It could. And while, dear reader, your searching for what's left of your emasculated skepticism, the load has gotten heavier. Seismologists are warning. Listen. For reactivation of the San Andreas Fault and the tipping of millions of gallons of Vitus vinifera into the bowels of the earth. You might as well watch, having nothing to lose but your subscription to that wine brothel, to that brothel towel of the wine taster and its lame imitators. You don't need them. You're tired of being bloviated about which wine to buy, but not who's doing what to whom and which cellar. About lifestyle vintner musees and celebrity auction addicts buying match sets of Jeroboams of old Dripping Creek Cabernet. All passé. Forget numerical ratings and the latest $2 wheat. Forget medals. What you need is an unsanitized morning after whiff of the infinitely varied, often tight-assed Infinity Divini on America's western edge, where they're staging the last agrarian act in that amazing, transforming, longest-running, sputtering musical, Manifest Destiny. You get the idea of where Les's sympathies lie. He's not a hero, but his blog is instrumental in achieving a crucial victory, and after that he settles down into sort of middle-class comfort with someone else's wife. So, why is wine an important subject generally? Because it changes things, not just us, but the world so cozily inhabits. Wine's an accelerant in the broadest sense. It accelerates mood and bank accounts of those who make it while depleting bank accounts of those who don't. It accelerates social ambition and visions of the possible, as well as misbehavior and occasional megalomania. Wine may be an ideal keyhole through which society can be seen in sharp focus, but not enough people are looking through it. Doing so can make you enemies, I know, but it's worth doing, and someday you may pull out of that keyhole a bestseller or a blog with unforeseen consequences that set you on a rising path to unimagined success. The story of wine in the 20th century is fraught with all the hot-button issues of our time, from large-scale corporate misbehavior to global warming, from fractured democracy to the role of the individual in American society. And you're the ones who have to tell it. Right.